strong here. Bonds recovering. So let's see here. There we go. We have PMI composite at 8:45. So in about 10 minutes, we have a small number coming out here, and well, it's not a small number. And then at 9 o'clock, ISM Services Index. And then, believe it or not, there's a Fed speak already. There's a couple of Fed speaks. One at 11:45, and another one later on this afternoon at 2:30. If you're going to be trading that late, so at 11:45, and then 10 at 2:30, a couple of Fed speaks. As we're kind of hanging up here on these highs, really not doing anything, just kind of just hanging. Apple shares came out with the earnings yesterday. They were down after hours on Thursday, following the tech giant's fourth consecutive quarter of declining revenues. Investors also seem disappointed by the guidance despite the earnings beat. Strong services business performances and a 3% growth in iPhone sales. On the conference call, the CFO forecast first quarter total revenue to be similar to last year, while iPhone revenues will likely grow year to year, even with 1 week less than a year ago. Some analysts said the results were not impressive given Apple's expensive valuation. Well, I always expect Apple to be so good. Stock is one of the better stocks this year, if I'm not mistaken, the whole tech sector. Let's see here. There is Hamas leader is going to be giving a speech, and he's talking right now, actually, in regards to whether they're going to join the war from the north to make it a two-front war, which again, this could add a little volatility here, especially if the United States gets involved, which again could create some angst in the market, only because the Hezbollah guy is associated with Iran, and that could be a little bit of a problem here if, especially when the United States said that they're going to make sure that nobody else enters the war. So we'll see how the rhetoric plays itself out. So he's talking right now. We'll see if anything comes out of it. I think you just never know if how they're going to react to that kind of stuff. So who knows? We're just kind of hanging up here, 65-ish area in non-farm payrolls, expecting big number. Last month was a huge miss, 336, came in 180. I'm sure they adjusted the previous month's number, but I haven't found it yet. All right, we're just kind of hanging here. We got a small number, little number coming out here at 8:45. We'll see what that brings in. All right, we continue to uptick. We're looking at the 74 area. Again, I expanded the ranges a little bit because I don't really know you know, what's going to happen or how busy or not we're going to be. All right, continue to uptick. Looking at the 74 area. This number coming out here in about 2 minutes. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We are trading mini S&Ps. We're looking for opportunities to scalp the market. We're trading off of this unemployment number that was released early this morning. And now we're just kind of hanging up here on these highs. Both the bond market and S&Ps kind of pushing forward. '74 is what we're looking at. Yeah, there's a chart. Can you guys see my charts? Everybody see my charts? Somebody's asking about are we supposed to see charts? They are up there. I don't know if you can. Yes. Obviously, I can see that you can't. Yeah, they are up there. People see them. Um, Patrick, I don't know why you're not seeing them, but everybody is other people are seeing them. So I got up to 70 and change here. We have a number coming out here momentarily, so keep that in mind if you're trading. And the number is out. We uptick here a little bit. We're looking at the 74 area as our next level of resistance. Again, we expanding our stops here a touch because of the volatility in place. All right. Again, make sure you keep your stops in place. We're not going to love any trade we put on. Got right up there to 72 and a quarter. Again, maybe expanding your entry points as well because take into consideration volatility. That's also a possibility. Again, everybody here trades differently. There's not one right or wrong way to managing risk, and all the risk management is dependent on your risk tolerance as an individual. So we can just suggest different ways of scaling in and why you would scale in and how you would manage those trades. At the end of the day, it's up to you to get into these areas and manage them accordingly. We got up here to 72 and a quarter against our 74. Again, I'd like to scale in a point above and below. So I'm just kind of hanging up here. It's very close. See how this bar closes here. See if we can get filled right now. Or not. All right, coming right up here to these highs here, looking at the 74 area. Again, we talk about volatility, especially because of the couple bars, first few bars in the morning, and yeah, it's unemployment this morning, so there's going to be some volatility early on, and we have to manage that accordingly. So we're up here, we're working our 74 area. Kind of thin considering the volatility. I mean, considering the range that we're in, for the most part, it's very thinned out. All right, coming up here to the 74 area. Again, whatever you do, make sure you keep your stops in place. This is trading off of the number, so all right. All right, got filled up there on the top end too. So nice little quick rotation there. Take some, if you got filled on everything, peel some profits off. You have to respect what the market is doing. At the same time, uh, if you're trading multiple contracts and you have some profits here, take some profits and then see if we can get rotation a little bit lower against our 74 area. We do have another number coming out here at the top of the hour. I'm working the 74 area here a bit. All right, there we go. Turning over here a touch, giving us at least 3 points if you just took the 74 straight up and trying to get us a little bit more here. Again, talked about expanding your stops here, taking into consideration the volatility in the day. And so it's turning over here a little bit for us. And we got filled all the way on the top end of our ranges here. So it's a nice little trade we got going. Again, you have to respect it. And if you're trading multiple contracts, take some profits along the way. All right, we got a nice little trade there against our 74. Would like to get down to 70, got down to 70 and change there. But hopefully, again, like I said, since we got filled on the top end, hopefully you're taking some profits there along the way. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We don't mind questions. I'm sorry that everybody else can see the charts. I don't know why you couldn't see them, but they are up there. And if you look at the chat box, you'll see the levels we gave out this morning. They're there to guide us through the day. We never know which way the markets are going to go, but we can just trade the ebbs and flows if the market gives us those opportunities. And in either case, we're always keeping our stops in place. All right, so now we're continuing to uptick here with a nice little rotation against our 74, coming up here, making new highs. Bonds, though, taking some profits. They're big profit-taking mode right now. Bonds in a almost 115 handle. Wasn't I talking about 108 handle? I mean, really ridiculous moves there. All right. We're just kind of hanging up here at this 75 area, 74 area. Next level we're looking at is up at 85. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat, please. Support right now would be around the 60 area or 61, our pivot, anywhere in that range. We do have another number coming out here in top of the hour. So in about 5 minutes. All right, staying up here on these highs. We're looking at the 85 level next, and downside support would be around their pivot there at 60.61. All right, kind of staying here on these highs. I got a number coming out here in about 2 minutes. We'll see where that takes us. All right, we're hanging up here on these highs. We have a number coming out here momentarily. We don't like to have any positions on when numbers are released. So we are kind of flat right now. And we'll let this number come out and see what direction it wants to take us. The 845 number pushed us up here to our 84 area. All right, just see what this number does here. They kind of lightened the load there a little bit, and at least in the bond market, they lightened the load. They didn't lighten the load so much in the S&Ps. Okay, seems like a little action. See what happens here with this number. Upside at 85, downside at 60, 61. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, 85. That's our next level on. Whoa. Hello. Again, if you don't like the volatility on the number, don't have to trade it. Get up here to 83 and a quarter. Again, if you're scaling in, maybe you are scaling in around it. Again, how you scale in is definitely dependent on your risk tolerance. I'd like to do it a point above. Doesn't mean that somebody else can do it differently. And we just missed our entry point by just that much on the upside. That's too bad. No, too bad. Well, I don't. I missed it. Maybe somebody else had 83. If you're scaling in 2 points above and below, maybe you got in. And like I said, because we're expanding our stops, 2 points above and below a level is not uh, definitely acceptable if you are trading it. They both hiccuped here. Bonds rallied and broke. Same with the S&Ps. They were 51.8 versus 53. Again, a kind of weakish number. They liked it for a second. So we're bonds completely rejecting it, making new lows. So what happens? That bond market is so thin, very tough to trade. We just missed our entry point by just literally an eyelash. That would have been a nice little trade there. Obviously, if you're going to leave if you're going to leave it in during a number, this is why you have to be a little bit careful. Keep your obviously you have to manage your stops accordingly. Maybe trade a little bit smaller if you're going to leave your entry points in there when numbers are released. I told you a story yesterday about how I got filled on my trade one time, electronic on the screen, and there were no bids or offers anywhere, and nothing like having a 20 or 30 lot on and not knowing where you're getting out or what the exit strategy is because there was no stops. There's no bids or offers. It was pretty amazing actually. So that's why we try to tell you to have be careful when you're trading numbers because you just never know. And then also like I said, we have geopolitical situations out there that might start flowing into this market a little bit, and that's the case. You have to be very, very careful because you just never know. They could really open up the floodgates one way or the other. All right, coming back here to that 74, we got support right now. I still support at 60, 61 if we're looking for anything. If you're trading the bond market, they went right back down to our blue band there and popped it right back up. Again, very crazy little bond market there. But again, they're also, you know, taking some big profits. Bond market is up a lot over the last just this week after the Fed's announcement on Wednesday. Yesterday rallied, Wednesday rallied, and today rallied. So very big moves there in the bond market, and that's kind of rallied us along with it too. So again, very being patient is very important. All right. All right, so again, we got support. If we turn over here down at the 160 area, upside just missed our entry point up there at 85 by just that much. Obviously, because of the volatility, it's a little bit riskier. Maybe manage it differently. Maybe if we go back up there and test it, maybe again trade less at the upper end of the range, not trade it at all, depending on your risk tolerance. It would have been a nice little fill there, but we just missed out by a couple ticks, and that's going to happen. So I don't know if anybody was aware that Sam Bankman-Fried, he was the person that the founder of the collapsed crypto exchange FTX. Yesterday, he got found guilty on all 7 criminal charges against him related to fraud and conspiracy. Prosecutors presented evidence and testimony showing that the SBF uh, had siphoned billions of dollars in customer deposits and doctored balance sheets at the FTX to bankroll speculative investments, donate millions of dollars to political contributions, cover major losses at the sister hedge fund, uh, Almeida Research. While an appeal is likely, SBF now faces decades behind bars, with the judge Lewis sentencing on March 28th of 24. Also, as he faces a second trial earlier that month, next year. Uh, the U.S. attorney said the SBF perpetuated one of the biggest financial frauds in American history. The crypto clearance industry might be new, and the players like SBF might be new, but this kind of fraud, this kind of corruption is as old as time, and we have no patience for it. It's a warning to every single fraudster out there who thinks that they are untouchable or that their crimes are too complex for us to catch, that they are too, or that they are too powerful for us to persecute. Yeah, I took a lot of money from a lot of people, a lot of people who don't have a lot of money. I kind of screwed them all up. Kid is, but I don't think he's even 30. He is 30, but he's done. He is done. All right, market trying to turn over a little bit. I can see bond market kind of doing the same thing. It seems like we like to follow the bond market these days at some point, and then we get decoupled from them. Just never know. So again, support would be down at the 60 area, 61 our pivot. And see what happens. All right, so we have no other numbers coming out this morning. Um, Again, like I said yesterday, sometimes the unemployment trade kind of a little boring once we get the initial jolt, which we did, and then we just kind of do nothing after that. All right, we're just kind of hanging here. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. We are scalping mini S&Ps. We're looking for opportunities to scalp the market based on the levels in the chat that we gave out early on this morning. We'll repeat the levels for those of you who must have missed them. And any price action opportunities that might occur. Obviously, we're trading on the heels of the unemployment number that was released this morning. You can tell it's a little bit positive for both uh, bonds and equities. Positive in the sense that the number was not as strong as expected, and consequently, market likes bad numbers these days, especially after FOMC results on Wednesday. Market has continued to uptick here, big rally here in the bond market, and we go from correction mode in the S&Ps to kind of just almost back up to these 5% from the highs. So kind of a crazy little ride here we are getting. But that's what happens in these markets, and all we're trying to do is take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market, looking for areas to scalp. And if you look at the chat there, you see our first level of resistance was at 74. We had a nice rotation off of it. And then we had the 85 area. You can tell right on that spike when the number came out, it got up to 83 and a quarter. Again, depending on how you scale in around that 85, maybe some of you got it, maybe some of you had 84. Like I trade points above and below the level, and I kind of missed my entry point by just that much. But maybe some of you got in at 83, depending on how you scaled in. And my point being is that everybody here does it differently. There's not one right or wrong way of scaling in or scaling out. It all depends on your risk tolerance and how you manage it independently. Anything that I say in regards to strategy or levels, how we find them, or opportunities, setups, we do offer a coaching class where we explain all these things to you. And the goal of the coaching class is for you to be able to trade independent of myself, even though we encourage you to kind of come in here and chit chat away, because sometimes it kind of is boring trading from staying in front of your trading screen all day and not doing much. I mean, no noise. At least here we'll give you a little bit of noise of me talking, and once in a while, when we have a little banter between Don and myself, keeps us alive instead of falling asleep, which we haven't had that many opportunities this morning. We've been close a couple times, but it's kind of been, for the most part, quiet. And again, not surprising because, like I said yesterday, uh, it's kind of these kind of trades, unemployment trades, get a little bit busy, and then all of a sudden they pull the plug. Bond market, though, is definitely moving around. All right, we had support down at 6160 area. They got down to 67, coming back up here a bit. All right, we're kind of coming back up here a touch. Again, kind of range bound, even though it's a little big range, but still range bound nonetheless. And you got to be patient here. I know the ranges are sometimes a little bit big, especially today, but uh, picking your spots is, I think, very important. Not just trading because you see the markets like kind of moving back and forth. Kind of hard to know where they're going to stop and rotate. So we'd rather just find areas that we believe that those areas that give us those opportunities, like we see in the levels or any price action trades. At least we feel that we have a better chance of finding those areas to give us those rotations that we're looking for, those ebbs and flows that we're looking for. Again, we don't mind questions, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. See, things have slowed down a touch. All right, range bound here a bit. All right, range bound still. Yeah, dominating win, right? They won. They said that they won 11 road games in a row during the playoffs. It's like a new record. They didn't lose one road game. It's pretty amazing. All right. Again, you can see the levels there for us. Market is definitely, yeah, it was their first title. Uh, well, typically we're looking most of the time it's 2 to 3 points, I would say, profit targets and stops. Today, because of the volatility, maybe 4 points. But again, as the day goes on, that'll probably get back to 2 to 3 points. And we're looking to average about 4 or 5 trades on average day. I think 4 or 5 trades is on average is a key word. The average is key.